Hey guys, it's Dan Civic FL5 here, and today is going to be a different type of video. I know all the others videos about the canyons or me driving around the freeway is kind of getting repetitive, so this one's going to be a little different, and I'm me creating a new series where I'm going to be talking about FL5 upcoming parts, future developments, and just future mods that will be coming out just specifically for the FL5 Type R. I'm probably gonna do in the future other Civics as well, like the SI or like the basic models. But for now, I just want to focus on just the FL5s. Probably the last generation as well, FK8, since there's still parts coming out for that car. But for now, I'm just gonna be focusing on pretty much PRL 27.1, map performance or anything else that I could potentially talk about their upcoming parts and any news that's coming out with FL5. Alright, let's get started here with Type R High Volume Intake Development Part 1. And before I get started here, hopefully you guys subscribe, like the video, and comment what else you guys want to see on this channel. But anyways, what's new? FL5 Type R. This article came out on June 2nd, 2023. So right before summer, I'm recording obviously this video on November. So it's been a couple months that they released this article. Now they say, we understand that everyone has been eagerly awaiting a better intake for the FL5 Type R. The development phase of our high volume intake is nearing completion and the testing phase is about to begin. Before we dive into the changes and reasons behind them, let's first take a look at the factory intake. Now it's been a couple months already that they've been completing tests, doing research, and already on their final stage. So they already figured out a way how to get more cold air intake into the engine. But this is a picture of just a stock FL5 intake, and it's pretty crazy how you can still hear the whoosh on it when you press on it and everything. I'm not gonna read all of this, word for word. So if you guys want to read everything, just pause the video. But anyways, it's saying that the FL5 stock intake, the rubber inlet snaps to the box itself. Essentially, it's like a little tunnel snapping to the box, making a two-piece setup. And this rubber duct seals to the top of the hood or the bottom hood. And when you're driving stuff, the cold air goes to that little tunnel, to that box, and then all to the intake to the turbo and everything. And the problem that this stock intake has is that little duct blocks in front of the radiator. And when you're driving on a track or driving hard and having this heat and full max heat soak, it can make the car really slow. And throughout the research at the FK8 with the PRL team, the FK8 was down 65 horsepower from stock at full heat soak, which is massive, honestly. I mean, what? That's like 240 horsepower? Really slow. That's like the Accord level. So the PRL team was met with some tough challenges, They wanted to maximize the amount of cold air to travel faster into the stop box without blocking the radiator with a large front scoop. So what was the plan? How can we maximize cold air to reach into the box and faster into the turbo so we can make the car more efficient? Well, PRL noticed that the FL5 stock intake was a two-piece design, which limited so much cold air into the box due to a little bump, the little hump that goes into the opening of the box itself, as you can see here. So what did the PRL team do? Well, they changed the design to allow the more opening of the hole to be bigger to increase the size of maximizing more airflow and limiting any restrictions into the box. With this design by PRL, they achieved opening the airflow by 133%. And as you can see in this prototype by PRL, you can see that the hole is way more wider, eliminating any air restrictions and just having more air travel faster into the air intake. So as you can see, this little duct right here, this whole blocks from going in the air. So they made this whole piece, this whole two piece, it's one whole single piece for PRL. And the PRL, they eliminated this little squishy stuff. You can see the duct right there, covering the radiator. And then at last, they included to have silicone throughout the whole system of the intake so air can travel more smoothly and more faster into the turbo. And this shows that the prototypes here that were used is fully functional. Finally, we have reached part 2 and the final part for now. This is the latest PRL article that's out, and I believe we'll get probably part 3 in December or early January. And I believe that this part, the intake, is coming out next year. January, February, that's when you'll see pre-orders, pre-shipment, and all that sort of stuff. But anyways, it says, you guys are taking forever. Where is my intake? Well, calm down. You know, we'll get our intakes. We'll get our beautiful sounds of push, and everyone will be happy. Right here, you can see the beautiful production, high volume PRL intake, and it looks really nice. I'm actually really impressed how it looks. You can see the curves and everything, the silicone, the big entry hole for all the air to go into the box easily and make the turbo spool faster. It looks really amazing, and honestly looks production ready. But we'll see why it's still taking quote unquote forever. So throughout the time between Article 1 and Article 2, the couple months that passed, they've been testing the cars with the intake and testing it with two-step performance and red star motoring. And so far, they've been noticing that the limit for this intake is 400 horsepower, as you can read here. And, they were not impressed. They went back to the drawing boards and made a version 2, which added another mini duct for more air allowed into the box, which surpassed the restrictions above 400 horsepower. I think it's really cool that, that there's different type of versions improving the intake, because you just want to maximize every cold air you have up into the box so you can make your car go way faster. Remember, for these cars, cold air is everything. Keeping the car at a very normal cold state is very good. You don't want it to heat soak and have problems in your engine and problems at track, and maybe, even hurt the engine itself. And right here, you can see the graph by PRL. You could see how the stock intake is way lower than PRL and has much more restrictions. And PRL, you could see it withstand and hold itself up throughout the horsepower and everything. I wish you could see it. I tried to download a more HD picture, but just take a pause and look at it. I'm sure once the intake comes out, there will be way more tests and everything. So right here, they're just showing the cars they use for the testing. They use Corey's car, and it was able to see the best of 505 horsepower and 419 feet of torque, which is crazy. At 30 psi of boost with the intake. But the numbers that we want to see is just the power gains from the intake, 19 horsepower and 10 feet of torque, which is, we expected that. And probably with a tune, it will go much higher. So just wait on that in the future coming. Then they list the mods that were used in Corey's car. You could read it right here. And with Pepe's car, they were able to see 461 horsepower and 360 torque at 27 psi of boost so far with their high intake. I was about to say mine. With their high volume intake system. And without it, it'll be 448 horsepower and 350 with their modified factory intake. Which, that's about 20 horsepower the cold air intake. With tune, it'll be a little bit more. I don't know if this is tune or not. And yeah, cold air makes your car go faster. And here are the mod lists that was used for Pepe's car. And this was a short article. They didn't have much to say. They're just ready for production now. That, they're happy that, they increased the 400 horsepower mark. And they'll probably have more data in part 3. Hopefully they release part 3, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you.